Report. Today we've got a fantastic guest. Originally, he reigns from Illinois, but went on a journey that brought him to San Angelo, Texas. He's helping lots of people. He's connected at the clubhouse here in San Angelo. Absolutely, man. So, man, we were just talking about some interesting stuff. Like, talk about what you just told me. You said, let's jump off here right into ADHD.
Okay.
So I'm fascinated sort of by this subject right now, just because, like I told you, I have recently been diagnosed preliminarily as having some form of ADHD, which is interesting also because I would have these depression spells, and I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Okay.
And my sister had the same issue, and they prescribed her stuff for the anxiety and depression. Well, for her, it turned out that her ADD or ADHD was actually the root cause of why she was having the anxiety and depression.
The mania.
Yeah. And so once she figured that out, she got so much better. But what's interesting also is there's so many different forms. I think there's like 7 or something forms of ADD or ADHD. And so you think you are for sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's the term called ADHD. It's where it's autism and ADHD combined.
Yeah.
Because I'll have the outgoingness and the ability to socialize.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people who are autistic miss those social cues.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get it.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But then, like, in other words, I'm not. A lot of autistic people have like 1 or 2 things they're extremely good at. Whereas me being ADHD, on top of that, like I was talking to you, I'm the 80% guy. Like, I'll be really good at a lot of things, but I'm not a master to anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas autistics, they have more of, I'm really good at this, I'm a master at this, but then I go and try to talk to people, and I have no idea how to get involved, figure it out, and it takes them a lot of time to integrate themselves in a friend zone or anything like that,
Yeah.
And
Thank you to Maximus Nutrition for sponsoring the show. Maximus has some of the best nutrition and supplementation in the Concho Valley. Take it from me, as a strength coach for over 10 years, I've shopped there and got all my supplements from there. There's 2, in fact, that I'd like to personally recommend to you. One is a good protein supplement called UMP Beverly International. It's got one of the highest bioavailability rates, so your body actually absorbs like 90% of the actual protein instead of like 60%. The other thing they carry is methylene blue. It's a really cool supplement. Do some research on that one, but it helps with mitochondrial energy uptake. So it helps you to recover faster, have more energy and focus in the gym. So thanks, guys. Maximus Nutrition. They've got 2 locations, the one on Sunset and the one on Knickerbocker. I want to thank Winter the Barber, our newest front-end sponsor of the Matt Cutrer Report. Winter the Barber is located at Fresh Cuts, which is in the Sunset Mall right across from Marshall's. Winter does it all. She specializes in men's cuts, beards, she does waxing, the works. You got to go see Winter. She also does the little kids. She's got great rates, also does walk-ins. Winter the Barber, tell her Matt Cutrer sent you. I want to thank the San Angelo Performing Arts Center and my good friend Yuki Kunoyuki for sponsoring the Matt Cutrer Report. SAPAC is really great for San Angelo and the Concho Valley. Guys, the more we get out and watch live performances, whether it's a comedy show or live music or anything they put on over there, it's going to help our community grow with the arts and culture. So thank you, SAPAC, sincerely from the Matt Cutrer Report. We hope to see you at a show. So say what you were saying about the cars, what you would do with your cars as a kid.
So when I was a kid, I would find, you know, a bunch of different cars, find the makes and models, the colors even, and I would, you know, line up all the red, the yellow, and the blue, and then I'd get bored and then switch it up for you know, a whole bunch of Hondas, then a whole bunch of Nissans, and then I'd mess it all up and then do it all over again. And I don't think it, like we were talking about, I don't think it was about the end game. It was just about, you know, putting my mind in that fixation, the hyper fixation to keep me going.
Yeah, there was no real end goal or purpose to doing it. But you would you know, put them in a certain order or reorganize them a different way every time. You know? Did you find yourself doing that with anything else in your life? Can you relate that to something else?
Yeah, honestly. So have you ever heard of the game called Magic the Gathering?
I think I have. I think I've heard of it.
It's a card game.
Yeah.
And so specifically, I like certain cards. I like certain things like colors. So they color coordinate with like black, red, blue, and white. And each thing has its own little thing. Well, I'm so about two colors that I will get every card, and I'll fixate on that, and then I'll find like a certain monster and fixate on that kind of monster and build my whole deck like that. And so that it just becomes this like one-faceted, super monolithic monster of a deck that you're like, okay, what are you doing? And I'm all like, I finished it. I finally finished it. Like, I couldn't do that with the cars. I couldn't do that with the dinosaurs. But with the cards, I could do it. You know?
That's hilarious. Was that satisfying?
In so many ways. And then I got so good, I started doing it with the cards and the colors that I didn't do well with. So it just became this like, well, what can I get? You know, what can I make? What can I beat with this? And I'd get so fixated on how good the cards were that I would even play with myself. Like, I'd play this deck and this deck, and then try to beat me.
I used to do that with Texas Hold'em poker.
Same concept.
I would sit there and deal out hands and like acting like there was another player involved. You know?
That's exactly how
crazy.
That is ADHD to its finest.
Dang. So we met. I guess how many days ago was this? Like
2 Wednesdays ago.
2 Wednesdays ago. Yeah, that's right. And I was out with Mike Burnett doing this experiment, I guess you could call it. It was called Mike's Night Out, and it was 12 hours of him from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the streets of San Angelo, experiencing what it's like to be homeless in the Concho Valley area. And we stopped at the clubhouse. And the clubhouse, you tell the audience what the clubhouse is, first of all.
Oof. I mean, and like we were talking, it's really hard to kind of describe. But I guess in the sense of, if you got nowhere to find structure, this place is perfect for finding your structure, finding your routine, finding your niches that you could go for. Like, there's certain people on there that are great at culinary, and they have a whole sect for just the culinary side. And then there's people who are more office savvy, and they have a little sect for the office people, you know, and then cashier work. So it gives you the idea of what you can do. But they don't tell you have to go here. You have to go to this part. You know, they let you find your feet, and then you find your niche, and then you're like, you find your friend group, your connectiveness to it. It is a mental health place that allows you to let your mental health be free, but also understood at the same time.
Oh, that's a good way of explaining it.
Yeah.
That's a cool way of explaining it. Yeah, man, every time I go there, I have a great experience.
Likewise.
The vibe is awesome, dude.
And everyone accepts you for who you are at base.
Exactly, right?
No matter what it is, no matter what walk of life you've been there, come in, have something to eat, talk, let's have a conversation. What would you like to do? How can we help you? And then, you know, when Amy, you know, gave me the tour, I was like, sign me up. Sign me up.
And the only requirement is, what is it? You have to have some kind of diagnosis of
mental health diagnosis.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, if you decide to become a member, you shadow for like 2 days, you know, kind of what we do. And after those 2 days, I think it's like 10 hours of just working and like just like volunteering, you know, being a part of the, you know, the atmosphere, the space.
Okay.
And they'll help you with, if let's say you need transportation, they'll give you bus passes to help you get to and from because you put in the work. And, you know, it's the incentive that really counts.
I see. Yeah,
you know,
nice, man. I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's why the meals, you know, they're $1.50, but they're like $10 meals.
Oh,
right,
dude, easily,
you know,
amazing, yeah.
Good stuff. We had a really nice Greek chicken bowl today. It's top notch,
dude. That's awesome.
But for $1.50, that's a win, and it helps.
Yeah.
It helps the people who are working find a sense of purpose in the cooking that they do.
For sure,
you know, and that's the beauty of the clubhouse, is because no matter what you do, you're gonna have some type of praise, some type of satisfaction in what you do.
Yes, exactly.
You know, even if it's
cool purpose.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Yeah. So, you know, what really interested me about you when we were talking is, you know, we were there doing this deal on homelessness, and you kind of jumped in the conversation, and it seemed that you knew a lot about it. You had a lot of personal experience with it. And so that's what I wanted to kind of talk to you about in more depth. So I guess kind of just tell us your story, man, if you don't mind. Like, you know, like where'd you grow up? Kind of what happened? What led to that? Having those experiences, you know, just kind of free flow, if you would. You know?
I mean, I guess it started back when I was 16. I had just got into my accident. I was going through a lot of, who am I? What am I doing? My whole life just got derailed. I fell 110 feet off a bridge, broke my back in 3 and my pelvis in 6.
Oh my God. What were you doing?
Honestly, all I was trying to do was cross the street, get onto the bike path of a bridge that separates 2 separate bridges.
Okay.
And I ended up misjudging how far I went forward. So when I had jumped, I thought I was going to jump into grass. Well, I ended up jumping between the 2 bridges. Fell 110 feet, landed in a rock pile.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You jumped too far or not far enough?
So it was, I didn't know. So like, think of this as the bridge, like the side of the bridge. It split off to 2 separate bridges.
Okay.
And where I thought I wasn't where I actually was. So I jumped in the split between the 2 bridges, not realizing that it had split. So in mid jump, I had realized I messed up.
What did that feel like as soon as you knew you messed up? Do you remember?
Yeah, I could be honest with you. It was one of those moments where I had enough time to look left, look right, look down, look up, and go, oh shit. And I literally passed out in that instant. And then
you did?
Yes, my body knew to shut down. And then right before I landed, I woke up again, and then hit so hard that I passed out again. Yeah.
Wow.
So
in a rock pile.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, literally, it was rock pile, 10 feet away, train tracks, 10 feet away, water. So if I had 40 feet down that bridge, and then I would have hit water. But destiny had other plans for me. Yeah. You know.
Wow.
I wasn't a good kid back then. I'll be the first to admit. I was kind of what they would call the jockey. I was the bully.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
But I wasn't the bully that would bully, like, you know, kids that were meeker than me or lesser than. I just bullied bullies.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
But that mentality stuck, and
I know
then
what you mean.
When I got into my accident, that disappeared.
Really? Yeah.
It kind of, okay, so this goes back to early childhood like cartoons. Have you ever watched the show Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
So
you mean Dragon Ball Z or?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Goku, when he was a baby, he crash lands here, bumps his head, and becomes good.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same kind of story. Like, after I hit my head,
that's crazy. Yeah.
I didn't have no anger, no rage, no want to hurt people. Like, not at all. And that really started my apprehensively my story. You know, after my accident, I was in a back brace. I didn't know what I was doing with my life, because I had thought, I'm gonna get into construction. I'm gonna work with my hands. That's my life.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, I had to rethink everything. Like, I got to use my brain. Why me? That was the biggest thing, was the why me.
Really?
Beating why me. Because why me is what every person at some point thinks when they get into a life or death or even a life-changing situation. You know,
Yeah.
why am I in this?
So what did you finally come to? What was your answer to that? Did you ever
Yeah, why not?
find peace in that?
That was my answer. Why not?
Oh, wow.
Why not? Like, the reason why I would
Why
say,
not?
yeah, why?
Yeah.
Because why me was like, well, I'm not gonna have a normal relationship with a woman ever again. I'm not gonna be able to go travel like I want to.
Yeah.
But then something's in me like, you're you. Why
Yeah,
not?
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair.
No.
You're gonna find some love.
Exactly.
It doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're in a wheelchair. You're gonna go travel.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair. You're gonna go be in nature and camp for a weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's really changing you? No, it's
Yeah.
you. It's you. You're the problem and the answer.
Crazy. Yeah. Wow, dude, that's cool.
So after that, man, I spent some time with my dad. Very, just forewarning, he was a very abusive, very controlling person.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in prison when I was with him. I was with him during my accident, so it even felt more like a prison because I couldn't hang out with friends because he was so helicopter parent about, well, what if your friends get into an accident? They're not going to care about what happens to you.
Right.
And like, which I understood, but I can't be a kid. I can't go and be who I need to be as a kid.
Yeah.
So it prompted me to being an adult earlier than me having
I
to,
see.
you know.
Yeah.
So after that, I left my my dad. I started living with my mom's friend. Ended up having to leave there because, again, people wanted to control a situation that they thought that they could control.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, here's this kid, he's damaged. We're going to utilize what we can with him, regardless if that was their intent, but how their actions imply completely spoke different from what they were saying.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had left this situation with my mom's friend, ended up moving back with my mom. I was still really hurt because at that time I blamed her.
Oh, okay.
So a week before my accident, I got kicked out of my house with her. And then I had to move in with my dad. And within a week being with my dad, I ended up, so my mom still to this day doesn't fully forgive herself. And I told her, you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
I love you more now than before.
That's crazy, though. Yeah.
You know, and that guilt that she has, I've had to help her, you know,
I bet.
a lot of times. Like, there's nothing you would have done. Destiny was going to put me in this position. God is going to put me in the position so I can be tested and thrive through each test.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and so I traveled around, kind of couch surfed for a little bit.
Yeah.
How
old were you about this time?
I was 16, 17.
Oh, you were that young still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up getting back into school. I ended up coming in too late, watched my graduating class graduate, and that lit a fire underneath my butt.
Oh, cool.
So I ended up going back into school.
Okay.
Took 3 months to complete 2.5 years of work.
Dang.
I was not
Really?
kidding. I was not kidding.
That's wild, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so the way I looked at it is, to me, school is a cultivation of what they want to make you.
Yeah.
They don't teach you anything you want to learn.
Yeah.
So you know, and I kind of just was like, you know, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be my own person.
Right.
So I would literally go into school 5 minutes before school, grab all my homework, and then just leave.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't want to be there, but I'll do all your work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be your monkey.
Yeah.
Is the way I looked at it. You
Right.
know? But that set me up for the kind of person that I am now.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I'm an individual. I'm not a part of one set group.
Exactly.
I'm in every group.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I'd rather you categorize me in everything than nothing.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going back into school. I graduated on time that next year. Well, really early actually. By February, I had already gotten all my credits, all the things I need. I just had to wait to May.
Dang.
So you know, at that point, I had just turned 18, and I noticed something about my life. I'm a person of patterns, you see, and I noticed that I was doing the same thing day in, day out. Day in, day. I wasn't gonna amount to anything. I didn't push myself hard enough to want to do better for everybody else.
Yeah.
And this is about the same time where I asked myself, instead of asking what the world can do for you, what can you do for the world?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so instead of going to college, I took a 3-year sabbatical and I moved to Colorado.
Nice. Where at in Colorado?
Denver.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
At that time, that's when the whole marijuana craze became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as a person who has mental health issues, that has been, ironically, I would say my crutch and my medication at the same time.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people like to say it's, either or, but I'm going to be honest, it's both.
Okay. Yeah.
To everyone, it is at some point both.
Yeah.
And so I was there for a little while, realized that I was home. Something about life told me that I needed to come home. And at that point in my life, that's when all my friends were going through very hard things.
Okay.
And so I really traveled where my heart went.
Yeah.
I went to Denver to find myself as a man. When I didn't have a safety net, what was I going to do? How was I going to conduct myself as a man? I was out there for 3 months, or not 3 months, but 8 months.
With no safety net.
No one. I didn't know anybody, and I made my safety net.
How?
So me and my friend, we traveled from Rockford, Illinois, to Denver. Between him and I, he had connections, so he had some friends that were out there. They had just kind of started their own little hippie commune.
Yeah.
And so once we got there, I kind of got, acquainted with them, got stuck with them, and started figuring out means of taking care of myself, which was flying a sign.
Yeah.
And so the thing is about out there was they take care of their homeless population very well. Oh, yeah. The natives there.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I had a whole frozen chicken given to me. Like,
awesome.
Here's a chicken. But then I'm sitting there like, how am I going to cook this
know.
thing?
What'd you do with it?
So, well, the good thing is where I was living, the hippie commune.
Yeah.
Okay, so really what it was like 3 or 4 apartments in this complex, but like just like shifted in weird like angles. So like there's an apartment here,
Yeah.
apartment off to the right, and an apartment in the front.
Okay.
So like the front apartment was where all the hippies went because they had a full what's the word? They had a fully renovated basement. So that's where they would go. It was kind of like hospice or a hostel of some sorts.
A hostel, yeah.
Yeah, they'd stay there for like about a week. They give like, $100, $200, and they'd come and go as they pleased. I was the see you tomorrow crew, which is, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I stayed there way longer than I
Oh,
intended.
really?
Yeah.
Were there people like that? They're like, hey,
So
I'll
many.
just be here for the night. But then,
So many.
yeah.
Well, because it's like,
Interesting.
it's because it's like they got a plan, but they don't have it in full detail. They don't have it in,
right.
That's
fascinating, because you know what I found is whenever the 16th Street homeless encampment was here and it was set up like a little community.
Yeah.
I found that there were several reasons why people were staying there, and I spent a lot of time there, wrote a lot of articles about that place, and met a lot of people. And I found out that there were people there for mental health reasons. There were like permanent residents, I'd say there, that had lived there for 30 years. This lady, Rosie, I mean, she won't mind. I did an interview with her.
Yeah.
30 years. And then there were people who were using it as what I call a go-between, which is which I would hear people saying like, yeah, I got this apartment lined up, a couple of weeks from now, it's only $400 a month. And they were using it as a go-between because they got kicked out of their current situation. Right. So I found that was really common, is that people were just, a lot of people, and there was drug addiction too, of course.
Right.
But a lot of people were just in a bad situation and just kind of needed a leg up.
Yeah.
To get back up to par or whatever,
Instead of a hand up, they needed a hand up.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So is that how it was for you? You had a plan, but you were trying to figure out how to execute it.
It really was.
Okay.
And so like for the first 8 months, I wanted to figure out what would I want to do out here. And there was the problem is that being a disabled person, just trying to get residency, and then the field that I wanted to work in, which was being like a bud tender, someone who deals with marijuana and all that. And I had realized, I have to be a resident there for a whole year first before I have my
Ooh, that's right.
residency, and then I have to be there for a little bit longer to get my medical card, and then all the extra steps, which at the time I didn't see a problem, but I knew that there was something else that I needed to do.
Okay.
And what I realized was the people at that place needed me more than I needed them.
Whoa. Okay.
Like
yeah.
I was glue. I was the moral
Really?
glue. Yes. In a lot of cases, when people, like when hippies, they have their addictions, right?
Yeah.
Their addictions sometimes overlap who they are as themselves, and sometimes they just need a reminder.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
And
Yeah.
I realized that's been my mission everywhere I've gone, is that I've had to be the emotional, moral, like, circulator. I am the filter.
Yeah.
I'm the resonator. So
Yeah.
if you need an issue to be solved, just give me 30 minutes.
Wow. That to me is fascinating, because doesn't that make you feel like you have some sort of destiny, some sort of calling? I mean, like God has placed, a purpose or a path in front of you. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100% agree with that.
Right? Because you always find yourself, like you
goosebumps.
said, in those situations, like you're being used for something that's really important. You know?
I do find myself in a lot of situations like that. You ever heard of the term clairvoyance?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like clairaudience, where it's what it is when you are connected with the spirit will speak through you, and sometimes you'll hear spirit through the conversations that are around you.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
you could have five different conversations going on, but
Yeah.
you'll hear words from each thing, and it creates its own sentence that's resonating to you.
That's cool.
And that happens to me a lot. That's why I go by where I feel I'm called.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, San Angelo, like, they needed me. I really believe that it needed me as much as I needed them.
Yeah.
Because of where I came from and how I got here. It was divine guidance. It felt like a smooth, cool hand just pushing me along. And it didn't matter if I tried to get away from that.
Yeah.
I still was getting pushed no matter what. The whole
Fascinating.
how I got here, I was trying to get here, but how it happened, I had to be humbled before I got here.
Oh, yeah?
So my ex and I, we had a really bad breakup. We had a very, very weird situation happen in Denver, and we had to go back to her home base in Tennessee. Her and I and sometimes in relationships, you could be talking, communicating. It sounds like you're both agreeing, but you guys are really speaking different languages.
Yeah. What was the weird thing? Do you mind sharing it?
Yeah. So, like, she was trying to tell me how I should be as a man protecting her.
Okay.
Which I did all those things.
Yeah.
But how I listened wasn't how she wanted me to hear it.
Okay.
And so when I would, do the things she would want me to do, I would do it because I felt like that's what she wanted, but it wasn't. I was listening, but I wasn't fully hearing what she was saying.
Okay.
So, and vice versa,
Yeah,
things that I was trying to say, it was just like going through one ear out the other.
Right. Yeah, I feel you.
And so after so much of the discrepancies and then it got, kind of physical, she kind of put hands on me through a soda. And at that point I had realized this isn't going to go anywhere. I'm not going to be subjected to that.
Yeah.
And I love myself and I love her enough to where I need to leave.
Yeah.
For the benefit of both of us, I need to leave.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the night that everything happened, we got in a big argument. She ends up dropping me off, ironically, at the police station. She says that that I asked to take me there, but I'm pretty sure she just ends up just dropping me off right there. I'm like, oh, that's
Dang.
perfect.
Yeah.
She just assaulted me. All right,
I know, right?
So I ended up filing a report. They do their thing, and at that point, I'm realizing I got nowhere to go. I'm in the middle of Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee, in the
Did you know anybody else there?
No, I didn't know a soul.
Yeah.
And I was in the Appalachian Mountains, and you don't know what goes on there.
Yeah.
So I had this really funky vibe. I need to get my bus ticket. I was talking to my uncle who lives here in San Angelo. Well, at the time, Grape Creek. He's listening to the argument her and I are having. He's like, just get home, come home,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I end up getting a ticket, calling a cab to take me to that bus stop. Ironically, he takes me to the wrong bus stop.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, the bus stop that was there used to exist, but it doesn't anymore.
Oh, wow.
So where I was supposed to go, I didn't get to go. And then I had to sit there with a charger that I had bought in a box that did not fit each other because I was so distraught and outside of my mind, I was bewildered. I loved this woman with all my soul, and now I'm over here leaving her with the last thing I want to do.
Hard, man. Yeah.
It broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to love her with everything in my being.
Yeah.
But I knew it wasn't gonna work out. So I get this this bus ticket. I go to this bus stop. The time that it says that they're supposed to be picking me up, I realize they're not there, and I start freaking out because my phone's dead. I don't have anywhere to go.
Oh, man.
So I go to this gas station. The gas station lady there was nice enough to let me use her charger. I call up my ex. My ex and I are having this dispute, you know. She's trying to gaslight me, make me feel bad about my decision.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I'll take that, but help me, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I need help. And she
Yeah.
wasn't willing to help me. She wasn't, because her situation was she was a recovering addict, and her parents wanted her to get into, a rehab. And that's what she wanted me to do too. But at that time, I didn't have any afflictions like that. So I'm not going to lie about something to get a free place to stay.
Exactly.
I feel morally wrong with that.
Yeah.
And she didn't quite understand that. And I'm like, I am not putting myself in a situation to where I know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
I don't need the help like that.
Right.
Why would I do that? Honey, yes, you do. I know you do.
Yeah.
I mean, look what's happened, you know?
Right.
But we could never really, come to terms with what the actuality of our reality was.
Right.
You know, what are we really doing here?
Yeah.
We just winged a whole summer out of love.
Yeah.
And look what that's got us. We got to figure out a game plan here.
Yep.
And I figured, since it got toxic, we needed space. So I missed my bus, ironically, because the bus never came. Realized that the bus stop was completely on the other side of town.
Dude,
Like, the cab driver had no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, crap. I finally charged my phone up enough to get an Uber, find a hotel. Come to find out, when I get to that hotel, the hotel's booked out for the rest of the week, even though I just booked. And
what?
yeah, I had the book. I was ready. When I got there, no one was there. So I sat outside all night.
Yeah.
Mind you, by the time I got there, it was like 1:00. I'm in hospital pants that's literally disintegrating as I'm walking.
Dang.
So I'm gradually becoming more humbled each and every second because of the situation that I'm in. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I getting humbled?
Yeah.
Why am I being punished for this?
Right.
And I realized at that point in time, in the face of adversity, who do you look to? Who is the one person that gets you blessed and at peace of what is?
Yeah.
And that's when I had a come to Jesus moment.
Nice. Yeah.
And I was sitting there, mind you, my whole junk drawer part of my pants was literally vanishing. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to talk to people like, hey, can I use a charger? I don't want to intrude. People were trying to fight me because I'm asking them for a charger.
Why?
I'm not, because he didn't want no one to talk to him. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And I've never met anyone that if someone were to come to asking for help, they're like, F you, get out of here.
Yeah.
If you keep talking to me, I'm going to lay you out. I'm like,
dang.
What is going on? You're like, what's going on? I don't understand it.
I know.
And at this point, I'm tweaking out because I don't know where I'm at in a state I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.
The day's getting new. The receptionist lady told me that it's booked all week, and she won't even let me use a charger. Not even let me use her phone. So I'm sitting there like, why am I getting humbled like this?
Yeah. Exactly.
Why am I? Why is this going on? And finally, one of the guys that was passing by saw what was going on. Realized you need a hand up.
Yeah.
So he goes back, talks to his wife, finds this really broken USB to C cord and gives it to me, and then tells me about his testimony to Jesus.
Wow, dude. Yeah.
And he told me about how he went from not being able to walk to be able to completely walk after he gave himself to Jesus.
I love that.
Yeah. He stopped. He quit alcoholism. He the problems that he was having with his Achilles tendons slowly went away because he fully gave himself there. And I was like, at this point, I'm ready to, you know?
Yeah.
So he and I talked. We had this bonding moment, and he's like, dude, God bless you. And I know if you really want it, it's going to happen.
That's right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so from there on, I knew my pants were about to like slowly disappear. So I ended up getting, I ended up finding a homeless shelter around the area. And asked the Uber guy if I gave him like $10-15 as a tip, would he give me a pair of pants? Which he did, which was cool. Yeah, that was sweet.
That is cool.
Yeah. The vibe in Tennessee is very mixed. You got some really awesome people and some people you're like, what's going on?
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
So
That's interesting.
It is. Tennessee is a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up going to this place, spent a week there. Everything seemed fine until the last 2 days, and then I stumbled upon something that was truly, truly scary.
What?
So after I left the place, I did more research, but that place had a connection to sex trafficking.
No joke. Whoa.
So after a week there, one of the kids that was with me there starts mentioning stuff. He's like, dude, did you not realize how that every female that's been here, they just disappear? You don't know why. And then I work in the city. I don't see them. And and I'm like, well, I mean, give or take, it is hard to like always see the same person every day. So I kind of took it for face value. I took it for a grain of salt because like, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, everybody can, I mean, me, for instance, a week later, I was gone. I was out of Tennessee. So who knows, right?
That's right, yeah.
But then he starts hitting me with, no, there's cameras in the bathroom, in the fire alarms. So he ends up taking a picture of the fire alarm, and lo and behold, there was a camera in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, I'm like, I'm out.
Dude.
I'm out. I don't want no part of this. I used like one of the last like $100 that I had, and literally drove myself to a hospital.
Really? Wow, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, I figured out how to get here. Got the right bus stop.
Yeah.
Used the last of my money to get a new pair of clothes because I had enough for some clothes, the ticket here, and maybe a snack or two while I was getting out this way, which took about 3 days.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you how long it took.
So it went from Tennessee to D.C. and then D.C. all the way down the eastern coast, and then hit Texas. I think it was Houston at like 1 o'clock 2 days later in the morning, and then had a 6-hour layover there. And Houston's wild, guys.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff that was like, yep, I'm in the hood.
Yeah. And then where'd you go from Houston?
From Houston, went to San Antonio. From San Antonio, straight here.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then they dropped you off in San Angelo, and then what happened? You went, where'd you go?
So I got picked up by at the time, my uncle's girlfriend. We end up going back to Grape Creek. Kind of like they gave me all these promises of how they were going to help me out, you know, get me on my feet and stuff. And I realized over time the probability of that actually happening is very slim due to their own problems. Again, another situation where I felt like I was called to being there.
Oh, wow.
So like I had to help fix that family dynamic because it has been so oppressed and laid over. Like the dad wasn't doing the dad things, but doesn't know how to be the right kind of dad. You know what I mean? Like be patient yet firm. Yeah. But don't let your kid walk all over you. Right. But give them the ability to be themselves. Yeah. Like all that perfect in the middle stuff. So he would go from very lax to the most extreme, hardest, you know, and there was no balance. Like, for instance, his oldest boy, kid can do anything. Yeah. he'll scold him, and the kid will go back and do it all over again because he never had the structure. So I had to be the one to come in and be like, all right, since there is no structure, let me build it.
Yeah.
Let's put chores on the board. Let's put, time to talk about our feelings and emotions. Dinner time. Let's sit at the table because we don't do that anymore as a society. Really. We don't have a spot to where we all sit there, talk about our day.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's kind of phased out.
It really has over time.
Yeah.
I mean, even just
sad.
Even just being able to sit with your parent and have a good conversation, about anything seems to not be as prevalent as it used to be. Connections being lost in connection, so seeing that, my uncle's relationship problems, seeing the reason why the dynamic is the dynamic, and still to this day, it's kind of prevalent. But I've been able to sit there and systematically break down what needs to be done. Even though I have no control over what goes on, I know if 10% of effort was put into one of these categories, the quality of life 10% will get better.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I had to sit there and realize, this isn't my circus. This isn't my monkeys.
Yeah.
I can't be the one to take the family by the threshold and put them all in line. That's not me. But what I can do is plant the seeds.
Yeah.
All I can do is plant the seeds and watch it grow.
So did you do that?
Yeah. I mean, my uncle now has been more him, what he should be as a dad.
That's
like
good.
firm, calm, cool, collective, not yelling, not using, previous addictions as a reason why he can or cannot do something.
Yeah.
He's doing what us humans who take accountability should be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm finally seeing that man do all of that, and it's such an amazing thing.
That's cool.
And he just needed someone like me to be like, dude, you got this.
Yeah.
You have all the ability to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I back you.
Man.
I see you for you. You're a good man that doesn't want to do what their parents did to you.
Exactly.
And you're trying to break all these curses, but at the same time you are so against it, you're actually making it more prevalent because of your lack of attention.
Yeah.
And the more you, how do I put it? Nurturing attention you put into it.
Yeah.
The more you're going to get out of it, you know? And I've seen it. I've seen his youngest boy go from the dirtiest spitball ADHD kid ever to now when I talk to him, we can have a whole conversation.
Nice.
If I ask him, hey man, you kind of made a mess.
Yeah.
He'll go and clean it up now.
Nice.
And it's just that I call it quiet confidence.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because I'm confident in what you're able to do.
Yeah.
You're confident in what you're able to do.
Yeah.
Why do we have to talk about how confident I am of you being able to clean up your own mess?
Right, yeah.
When we know you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I need to speak upon it? Maybe you should talk to yourself about why you can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that thought process has made that little boy go, yeah, you're probably right.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's
Are
something
you still living with them?
at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now I am, yeah.
Cool, man. So you've kind of interjected, like you said, that structure that was needed. And so you think it's overall it's a better situation now, like you said?
I think for them, yes.
Yeah, well, not you though, or?
For me, I'm just happy because this is the first time ever that I've had family from this side of the family and actually say that it's my family.
Oh,
I can
cool.
actually express I feel home. I feel family with these people.
Mom's side or dad's side?
Dad.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah. Dad's side has always been more of I feel like an alien to them.
Really?
Well,
Why?
I think it's because every generation of kid after their parents has a little bit more social maturity.
Okay.
Things that so they're about family gatherings. They're about being together and connected. But I never grew up in those settings. So
Okay.
I've always felt like the lone wolf.
Right.
Even though I would love to. And if they invited me, I would go.
Yeah.
But I knew that wasn't my place. That wasn't my family. Even though by blood, yes. But my family was the ones I had to find. That's my tribe.
Yeah.
And my tribe are people who don't have it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those are my people because I was that person. And if that's how that goes, then who am I to turn them away when I
Right.
have family that I've already have it figured out. They have their dynamics. They have their lives together. I feel more connected to the person that is just trying to figure out who they are today.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. That's probably why, like you said, like when you got to the clubhouse, it felt like you said this, I think, at another point, but you said it felt sort of like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like I feel like I'm supposed to be here. Like I have a purpose here.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool, man.
Divine guidance, man.
Yeah.
It's really divine guidance. 'Cause
Exactly.
my whole life, I didn't know what, like, and I think this is the weird thing societal wise, because we were taught you could be anything you want, but I feel like that broke the generation in itself because it gave them no structure of like, you know, some kids when they see their parents, they're like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be a police officer. Oh yeah, I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But since we told them you can be anything, it opened it up too broadly to where they're like, what do I choose?
You might be right about that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic right there, because God, that's interesting, because one of the things we've been doing with my son is, and it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of not, is we we buy him toys, always airplanes or some kind of doctor, and we're always like, you're gonna be a doctor right when you grow up. You're gonna be a pilot right when you grow up.
Yeah.
And the other day, somebody asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I want to be a pilot. I
Yeah.
want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just interesting to think, like, what if you continued to do that, you know, and kind of set that in their mind, and maybe they really will be drawn to that and want to do that. It's funny you say that, like it was opened up too broadly, because it is like that.
Yeah.
Well, dang, what do I want to do, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, that was me, my early adulthood.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I
Yeah.
just knew that I needed to help people, like, because
Yeah.
that's
Cool.
where I felt my passion. That's where I felt my cause. And
Yeah.
I think that even stems from my mother and my grandmother, who were also caregivers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
that
I'm a
makes
third
sense.
generation caregiver,
Yeah.
and I didn't know my grandmother was a caregiver. Well, I did. I didn't know my mom was a caregiver.
Okay.
So it came full circle when I became a caregiver. My mom was like, you know, you're kind of continuing the family business. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I was a caregiver. Grandma, of course you knew, was a caregiver. And I'm all like, oh, you're right. I didn't realize that.
That's crazy.
And
yeah.
so my whole life I watched people take care of other people, and that's what I wanted to do. It wasn't it didn't have to be a firefighter, it didn't have to be a policeman, it didn't have to be a nurse. It was just someone that seen someone down and out, or someone that needed the extra attention. And that's all they needed, and that's me. You need a little extra attention, you need a little extra help. All right, I'll be your ear, I'll be your eyes, you know. Let's sit around for a while, you know. And I found, you know, as being a caregiver, that essentially was my favorite thing to do, even if it was like, so I had a client that when I got there, she didn't do her makeup, she didn't wear appropriate clothes. It was kind of like every day was bed day.
Yeah.
But I told her, because she wanted to get out of the group home like lifestyle. She wanted to be her own person. She wanted her own place, you know, all that. I'm like, well, all right, hun. So the thing is that I'm going to build a system for you. If you follow this system, you will see the fruits of your labor.
Ooh. Okay.
And so, like, I'm like, look, dress to impress. Fake it till you make it. You know, and I'm like, not necessarily actually fake it till you make it, but put yourself in the mindset that success is all that you can see.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you help out with the chores, if you find a routine in life, if you find the fact that, you know, self-care is what really do it.
Exactly.
So eventually I got her to the point to where she went from 24/7 supervision to 30 minutes to herself. And that, as a person who is being watched 24/7,
She was being supervised at 24/7?
so like basically in an adult family home setting, you can they can live in the house, they can do whatever they want, but to leave, for instance, they need to let us know, they have to sign out.
I see.
And
Okay.
but we can't, like, let's say as a caregiver, I can't leave that house for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And who knows what she might do.
Right, yeah.
Well, we got to the point to where her care team, her family, the staff believed in her so much that she could have 30 minutes where, let's say, I had to go take 3 of my residents, go next door, and she could be by herself. You know, she could do her own things.
Okay.
And then over the time, once we found that she has been doing all the things that we had set up for her plan working, then we'd give her the ability to be fully independent, which all that means is we don't have to supervise her. She's able to supervise herself.
Okay. Yeah.
And that right there was part of the system working out.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I still remember, rest her soul, she ended up passing.
Oh. Dang, man.
Very nice lady, very good lady. But she ended up like doing really good in job, getting promotions and all these really good things because she found a structure that worked for her. And all she needed was the right kind of voice to kind of guide her through it. Nothing too harsh, nothing too lax. It was just more of, hey, you know what you're going to do. You know you're going to fall off the wagon. So instead of, you know, being mad at yourself for falling off the wagon, just get back on.
Exactly.
Just get back on. You're fine.
Yeah, man. There's a phrase that or it's like a, I guess you could call it like a analogy or something, where it's like you're driving along and you run over something and it flattens your tire, and you get out and you're like, dadgummit. And so you got 2 choices. You can fix the tire, you know, sit there, take the tire off, get the spare, fix the tire. Or you can get pissed off, take your knife out, and slash the other 3 tires.
Right.
You know, and it's like, what does that get you, you know?
Yeah, now it's full messed up.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right? So, yeah, fix the tire and then continue forward, you know? Yeah. I like that. That's cool.
Most definitely, yeah.
But the thing I wanted to ask you is this. So, to get into sort of a little bit of philosophy, spirituality, what are the chances that this whole thing is a simulation, do you think?
Ooh.
What do you think the chances are?
I'd say, personally, from just experience, it's more likely that we are in a simulation than not, because they have found intrinsic codes that if the right parameters are set, it works just like computer code.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
there's laws there's laws that govern the universe. You know, there's what was I gonna say? There was like the speed of light is like it's a parameter that nothing can be faster than the speed of light. It's a limitation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. It's just too weird. But here's something I was telling my dad. I was watching this TikTok video. Well, it was really, you know, Sean Ryan, the Sean Ryan Show?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Love the Sean Ryan Show. He had this guy on who's like, I think he's like a scientist or something. And are you familiar with the DMT?
Yes.
Okay. So he heard about this. This guy was taking DMT, and he was doing it with a couple other people.
Red laser?
Yeah. You know about this?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. The red laser, how they were seeing the code.
Yeah.
The laser, the closer they would get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that there's something like that.
So just to explain it a little bit, so they take DMT, and I forget exactly how it went. Do you remember exactly how it goes?
From my understanding or what I could remember is that they would induce themselves with the DMT. They'd start feeling it, and then they would have the laser set upon like a white wall.
Right, just like from Lowe's or something.
Yeah, and then they'd get real close and they'd start seeing binary code.
That's right. But they could all see it. They were all seeing the same thing.
Yeah, and they were also saying that
bizarre.
They were saying that it was also in kanji.
What's that?
Like Japanese writing.
Oh, that's what I heard. Well, I didn't hear that, but I heard it looked like something like an Asian symbol or like some kind of ancient symbols.
Yeah.
Dude, how wild is that?
That
freaks me out, man.
So think about it. The Egyptian pyramids, the way that some of them look like, and when you put them in like a 3D scope and an overhead view, it almost kind of looks like like a card, like one of the like SIM cards.
No.
Yeah.
When you do what to it? When you put what over?
When you look at it overhead status, and like then you see like you map out where the tunnels go to certain like chambers and stuff.
It looks
like a chip.
SIM card.
Like a chip.
Dude, that's weird.
Like if you look at it like a computer processor and then you start seeing the shapes and everything, it's very similar. Even the lines, the structure, how perfectly like symmetrical and parallel they are.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I gotta look that one up. That's interesting.
Dude, when I saw that, I'm like, there's no way we're not.
I know. I know, yeah.
Like,
that's so crazy, dude.
And then to think about, like, there are people in the world that don't have an inner conscience. When they think, they only think in pictures. They don't think in thought.
Well, I was looking into this the idea that there are real NPCs walking around.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what kind of what you're saying is there are people that don't have that inner dialogue going on. Like there really are people like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is so crazy. You know, because from people who do, you try to think, how is that possible? And it's kind of just what you said, which is strange, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard it. I can honestly say I've almost heard it all. Like I've heard people who are so in tune that like before it rains, they'll talk about it, that it's going to rain on a Tuesday. And then so happen it rains on a Tuesday at 2:00. And he told me something about how things are coming in pairs. So then he goes and tells me that it's going to rain at 2, but at 2 a.m. it's going to freeze over. And then it systematically breaks itself down like that. Then I've seen people who have no identity of self, where they're just doing. It's like as if like a puzzle piece got set. You remember the movie Jumanji?
Oh yeah.
And when they set the puzzle pieces, it got magnetically stuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's how their life went. Just set on a course and had no choice. And that's how they kind of lived their life. They got set their parameters, they got set their laws, and they stuck to that. Whereas people who have the thought,
they had no free will, really, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of people. It's the illusion of free will that keeps people in line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they think that, you know, their choices are their own choices, but in reality, they're always going to choose that anyways.
Yeah. The way I see it is like this. I see it. That's good, but I see it like you have this path like this, and it's kind of like you said, like the Jumanji thing. Like it's real set in stone, and no matter what, it's going to stay on that path. But I sort of see it as, you know, whether you think of that or call that your God-given path or whatever, divine path, universal path, whatever you call it, that's your path. But I feel like where free will comes in is that we make decisions, and there's an infinite amount of decisions, just like quantum physics. There's an infinite amount of possibilities, but a choice has to be made first. And so let's say you make a choice and you veer off the path, and then that leads to a series of more choices. But eventually, no matter what, you're gonna come back to the path. It just might look all crazy and squiggly, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
it seems sort of like that.
A lot of the time, it is like that.
Yeah.
Like what you're ultimately supposed to do is sometimes what you're going to do. It's just how you get there that makes the most sense, you know. And like someone like me, I internally knew that I was going to be a person that wants to help people.
Yeah.
How I got there, had no idea.
Right.
So I took all these weird routes, and for some reason, I still fell in the places I need to be.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I said, that's why I feel like a lot of free will is the illusion of I'm going to do whatever I need to get to my path, but ultimately that was the path you're supposed to take anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe your predecessor could have done exactly what has been, you know, in a sense downloaded into us. So okay, so this is how we get to A to B. But then, you know, we are the type that are like, well, I don't know if I really want to do exactly what was set before me, so I'm going to take my own journey. But how I got there, never would have thought I had to, you know, go through this, and this was one real hard, you know, situation. But it ultimately taught me that I had to be here, to be able to help the people I needed to be, and realize that no matter what I do, my calling is going to call to me like I call to it.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Robert Monroe by any chance?
I can't say that I have.
There's a guy, he passed away. I forget when he passed away, but there's the Monroe Institute now. And he wrote a few books. The first one was called, I think, Journey of the Soul or something like that.
Okay.
he claimed that he could astro project, that he had learned how to do it, and it's fascinating, his book, because a lot of it you're reading and you're like, this has to be BS, but the way he talks about it is so like precise and scientific. The way it's like, how could he come up with something like this? It's weird, dude. But it's so profound and it works so well that there's a whole institute now of people who go there and pay a lot of money to go there to learn how to do this.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the CIA even used they're called the tapes to train people. There's like 21 or 24 levels. And supposedly some of them are really terrifying, and some people can't do it. Like they get to, I think it's level 12, and they quit. And what it is he claimed that he could. He called it rolling out of his body, and he would document it. So when you're reading the book, it's like 327 rolled out of my body, flew out the window, saw my body, looked down at it, flew out the window. And he talks about all these journeys and what he says is Earth is a school. He calls it a school. And what we do is we actually decide before we go back in and have this human experience, we actually kind of decide what we want to learn, what we want to experience to a point.
Yeah.
And that Earth is like this school, and it's not a simulation, but Earth is a simulator. It's a simulator for consciousness development, basically.
That tracks.
Yeah, and it's really interesting stuff. And I like just looking into that kind of stuff. It's really interesting. But a lot of people just look up the Moreau Institute, because people go there and they have these like profound experiences talking about astral projecting and traveling solar systems and crazy stuff. And I don't know if I fully believe all that or not, but what is interesting to me is that people are drawn to that place in droves, and they all claim they have these profound experiences. So that in itself says something is going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty wild, dude.
I can honestly say that I've had like maybe one or two.
Seriously?
One or two experiences.
Dude, tell me about it. I love hearing about like a personal account.
Dude,
of something
so
like that.
personally, it was kind of weird, because I was in a time in my life where like I was going through a lot of stuff, and I'd always thought that lucid dreaming was the predecessor to astral projection, because the astral projection is consciously putting yourself out into the universe, whereas lucid dreaming, you are consciously slipping into a sleep and knowing what your atmosphere while you roll into that. So when I started doing my little because I feel like astral projection is kind of like the middle between sleep and meditation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I bet you're right on with that. Dude. Yeah.
Because meditation is learning how to soak up the absence of life through silence. But weirdly enough, we are monkey-brained individuals who are living in the embodiment of sound all around us. Mm-hmm. So I was taught to meditate with as much sound as possible.
Oh, wow.
Because if you could silence all that around you, you can open your mind enough to dive into what meditation is supposed to provide you, which is that journey beyond the journey that's in front of us.
Okay, yeah.
So all astral projection is, the way that I was taught, that is at first you have to build your chariot.
Yeah, okay.
You have to build your vehicle.
Okay.
And the first thing that they taught me, or what I was taught, was what are 4 essential things in your life that has always constructed you a carriage, a way, a path through life.
Yeah.
For instance, it was, my family, the animals that I took care of, and the friends that were around me. And so the chariot is supposed to, kind of be your I would say like your UFO.
Okay.
Your unidentifiable object that takes you from.
It almost reminds me of, there's a term they use that I think Monroe actually created. They called it like Merkava vehicle or something. There's like a term for it, but it almost sounds like what you're describing.
I think it's along the same lines. Yeah. I've read a lot of things that probably is what because I went through a huge Buddhist and
did you?
Oh, dude,
me too, dude.
I went through a whole cycle.
Me too. Every religion, like a deep dive, man.
Yeah.
And it ultimately brought me back to Jesus, though, man.
Yeah,
you know? That's
yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
feel that.
Yeah.
You know,
Dang, that's cool.
when I had set forth, I got to that point where, I'm almost dreaming, but I'm also actively like, so when you meditate, when you truly meditate, the things that I started to see when I close my eyes and I fully, look within myself, because meditation isn't the vision outward, it's the vision inward, and that's how you get outward.
Ooh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
So as I was traveling inward, I started seeing sacred geometry. I started seeing structures and they would come like, have you ever seen the Tree of Life, the way that it's constructed?
No.
All right, so it's sacred geometry. The Tree of Life is sacred geometry, and that's what I was starting to see was the basis of each symmetrical line, the parallels within it. And once I realized what the mathematics behind that was, my body kind of pushed itself through the net, per se, of what's right here and what's right over on the other side.
Okay, real quick, let me interject. Here's what's wild. So, have you ever done DMT by any chance?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
So here's what and you can tell me now that if this is true, but so I think Joe Rogan maybe explained this. Somebody did, but so this blew my mind out of I was just like, what? So whenever you take DMT, there's this experience that's kind of a universal experience that everyone who takes it has sort of this same thing happen.
Yeah.
And it's when you take it, there's some kind of either gateway or doorway or a barrier that you feel like if you pass it or go through it, that you're going to die. You will die. So like most people, their first 2 or 3 times doing DMT, they won't do that, although they see crazy stuff. But then they get the courage and they go through the barrier, and then that's kind of what you just described. That's when they start seeing like the sacred geometry, like beings, like different things like that. Did you feel that? Did you have any kind of like anything you felt you had to pass or go through or anything?
No.
You didn't?
Okay,
maybe that's a myth then.
My experience was really weird and profound because, I think it also has to do with the method of how DMT is made as well. So I've tried 2 different forms. There was a ricin, kind of more of like a goo. Yeah. And the smell was the same. Like the weird thing about DMT is when you smell it, it feels like you're going to hallucinate.
Weird.
Like when you smell it, you feel the essence of, if you've ever taken any other hallucinogenic substance, you start feeling that come up without even having to inhale.
That's crazy.
So so my first time doing it, so what they call in the streets is called blasting off. Okay. So the first time I never blasted off. I got to the tipping point and then just slowly came back down.
Wait, why?
I think it was just the people, the settings, the surroundings, the environment around me, and plus I was too attached to my body at that point in time. My spirit was.
Yeah.
But what I saw though was interesting. I was looking up at the sky and I was kind of just standing there, kind of seeing how, like in Denver, the clouds in the mountains, they do really weird things. You'll see the clouds kind of move like this, and then with the currents of the mountains, they'll move it up and then push it back forward. It looks like a circuit board being played with, like it's someone with a turntable messing with the clouds or something. You know? And I'm sitting there like, what is going on? This is profound. Yeah. And then I started seeing transparent structures in the sky. Like at one point I had seen a whole ancient Chinese temple monastery on top of the clouds, but it was like it was there but not there, like transparently. I could see the structure for what it is, but I couldn't see the colors. I couldn't see the detail of like, where
you're just like barely seeing through the veil or something.
I just had the veil like lifted just enough to see it. And that was like, okay, I'm close, but I'm not quite there. So the second opportunity, it was in more of like a powdery form. And so the guy said, oh, this is 100 times extracted. I'm all like, that's potent. Okay, let me try it. Yeah. So I tried it. And that time I had achieved blast off, which was I took the hit, I held it. He's like, you're supposed to hold it until you pass out. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I passed out, and in my mind's eye, I'm sitting here in like kind of like lights looking down like this, but I'm in a pitch black room. I'm hovering in the middle of the room, and I'm seeing all my crevice, all of my nooks glowing with an electronic energy going around like this.
Whoa.
But every one is a different color. Everyone is each
Weird.
chakra that's in
Yeah.
your body, or the color that represents it.
Okay. Yeah.
So then at that point in time, it was bringing me to my sense of self.
Okay.
Because I've been so attached.
Yeah.
So the thing is about DMT is that it teaches you to make a relationship with your maker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Even if it isn't by voice, but
Right,
it's
right.
the subtle things. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to speak through this, and it may not even be just speaking, but like, for instance, the representation of seeing my chakras aligning, and the things that I needed to see is that, I'm a circuit board.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
all circuit boards.
Okay,
We
yeah.
all exalt electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
What DMT did was align me up to that frequency,
Okay.
where life's frequency instead of the human frequency.
Yeah.
And once you push yourself away from human frequency, that's when like nature calls and speaks to you. That's when, when you cry, ironically, it starts raining.
Yeah.
The small connections like that start really like becoming linear. So when I came out of it, when I like saw myself and I'm like, well, what's going on? And I realized at that point, God was looking at me in an overhead view as if I was in an obituary. Like, when they take you to the mortuary and they look at the body. That's what I was seeing.
Whoa.
But he was taking an overhead look and like kind of playing operation, messing with my energies, kind of like fixing,
Okay,
doing
yeah.
surgery with
Yeah.
my what was it, ethereal wires.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like I said, we're circuit boards. So he just did one of those here. Okay, you're good. And after I had found a peace, like me being, because this is a
That's
year or two.
interesting, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2-3 years after my accident, mind
Okay.
you. So he put the acceptance into place to accept me for who I am.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
yeah.
that's where he spoke to me.
Yeah.
That's why they say when you do DMT, you speak to God, or God speaks to you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's why when they do not DMT, but what's the actual
Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca,
Yeah.
yeah. When you do ayahuasca, it's so much more profound and stronger because it takes you right up to his face and you gotta face him. That's how strong it is.
Dude, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But also like fascinating.
It really
Wow.
is. And
I'm so chicken, dude, to do that,
I mean-
But I'm so curious though too.
I mean, it's so like coming from someone who has tried everything once
Yeah.
and gone, all right, I can decipher what's good and bad.
Yeah.
Like, I suggest everyone to have at least one profound experience.
I
like
know,
that.
right? I feel like that too. Like that would be important.
You know, and it also goes with so I read a lot of articles back in the day when I was curious about mycelia, fungus,
Yeah.
my magic mushrooms.
Uh-huh.
Is the funniest thing that a lot of people said, especially people who were religious and was very close to God. They said they had their most profound spiritual experiences when they took magic mushrooms, and then, it like somehow cultivated the understanding of what God really is, and the idea of what he really is.
Yeah.
Think of God as an architect. And once you realize he's just an architect and he's just sitting in the back and he has his own, like his workers,
Yeah.
doing his little things, you realize nothing isn't by, chance. It's all by design.
Yeah.
And how it designed is just so intrinsic to the complexity of who we are.
Yeah.
We're just a reflection of what we see.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest messages too, because once I jumped out of my my blast off when I
Right.
came to, I was seeing fractals and 3-dimensional like
That's what
structure.
I've heard that happens. Is it true that it's like only like 10 or 15 minute experience?
Yeah, it wasn't real long.
crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't real long.
Yeah.
Situationally, I was in a really weird situation. So like the guy that I did it with, ironically, his mother had just passed, and her name was Terry.
Yeah.
And I'm named Terry. And so my motherly instinct inherently connected to him after that, and I had to literally be his mother. I was the conduit for his childhood trauma through his mom, and I had to be the that resonator between both sources. And I felt it. I felt his mom kind of like speak through me and like, boy, what are you doing? What life are you living? Why are you on the streets of Denver? And why are you consuming all these weird, you know, harmful drugs, you know? And at that point, I realized, you know, when spirit talks to me and it works through me, that is just in God's design saying, hey, I need you to speak up for me.
Yeah.
And so I obliged, you know?
Yeah.
I did what I had to do. And after that whole experience, after the night was done, I never saw that guy again.
Really?
Never in my
That's
life.
crazy.
Never saw him.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
So to have that profound experience, mind you, I seen also a pink full aurora borealis.
What's that?
You know the Northern Lights?
Yeah.
I was seeing a pink version of that in the middle of like Denver at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, but while I'm seeing that, I'm realizing that's the energy that God wanted to give the world. And like, so pink is like a psychic love. Like he apprehensively knows what you need and what you love. And so for that moment, he gave me the sense of community. Because everybody was connected. We were all talking in a garden with water flowing. And like, these are the things that bring me to my most grounded self, my most connected self.
Yeah.
Like I've always lived by a body of water. I've always lived by a park. And no matter where I go, no matter where I live, I end up by body of water and by a park.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah.
So it was
nice.
I feel like that experience was God telling me, dude, you're where you're supposed to be. You know, maybe in a few months you won't be where you're supposed to be. Yeah. But I'll guide you. I'll get you there.
That's cool. That's amazing. Dang, dude.
Very profound. Like I said, I do suggest anyone that is curious to try it once.
Yeah.
Find someone who's safe, who knows what they're doing. Don't just random people. Like someone who actually has profound experience.
Yeah,
and knows,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Because that's the problem with a lot of people today. They're willing to try it, but they're not willing to do the research to, you know,
exactly.
this is what, you know,
for sure. Yeah.
And that entire experience taught me, you know, the difference between, you know, what I want for, but what does the universe want for? And like when I don't want for anything, everything is provided for me.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
It taught me how to have hope and faith.
That's cool, man.
Like that whole Colorado experience really taught me that, like, when you really ask for just the strength to do something, not, you know, hey, help me, you know, get this job, or hey, help me, you know, convince this girl to like me.
Yeah.
Nothing that is like greedy, nothing that is too about you. Anytime you ask, just, hey, I just, can you help me find the understanding in this?
Yeah.
That's when God speaks to you the most, because you're not asking. He's not asking. You're not asking for anything right now. You're not asking for anything like, you know, materialistic. It's just help me with this understanding.
Exactly.
And then usually, more times than not, give it like 30 minutes to a day. You'll get that. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Agreed. Well, man, this has been amazing. So I'm gonna get us out of here before we run out. The power goes out again or something. But I always do this with everybody. So, what are 3 things that you're genuinely grateful for right now in your life?
I'm grateful for the community that I've been slowly building around me. The people that I have been building relationships with. That has been one of the biggest things that I have been asking for, and you know, when you ask, you shall receive.
That's right. Nice.
The second thing is I finally found a sense of family with family members.
Yeah.
You know, even though it took me 30 years to find them, I found them. You know?
Wow.
That is a beautiful thing.
That is.
And I think the third thing is that I'm here today.
Yeah.
Being here every day,
sure, right?
breathing. You know, this human experience is a gift, and
It sure
you know,
is.
I spent too many days wasting it.
Yeah.
You know, it's time for me to enjoy the gifts that I'm able to give to people.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, I think that's what my biggest thing that I'm appreciative of is learning the difference of what I want is what everybody needs, and that is help. I wanted help, but I realized the only way that I can get help is if I help the people that are in need too.
Yeah. Well, man, I'll tell you, there's something that I have that's like I'd call it like a spiritual gift, sort of. And I was telling Mike this the other night, Mike Burnett, we were sitting out there alone on the park bench or whatever. And I said, you know, I can just tell when people are doing what they're meant to do. You know what I mean? When I see somebody doing something, I can just tell, like, that guy's where he's supposed to be. He's doing what he's meant to do, and that's what I feel about you, dude. Like, you're right. I think you're spot on about
goosebumps again.
Yeah, like how you help people, and that's your purpose, you know. And who knows at what level you're gonna do that, but I truly believe that about you.
I appreciate that.
I feel it. Yeah,
You know, and
pretty cool.
I know a lot of people may not believe in it, but even it goes down to the day you're born.
Mm-hmm.
It will teach you what your path is.
Yeah.
So for instance, I'm a 7 life path.
Okay.
That is the deep thinker. That is also the teacher.
Dude, nice.
So
nice.
I'm meant to teach people
Yes.
this part of
Yes.
life, you know, the metaphysical, the esoteric, and also the right here concrete proof.
Cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
That's all I'm trying to do here today.
Yeah.
You know, is raise awareness, teach people a little bit about themselves, because the only way you can really, you know, teach that is be like, look, this is what I found inside myself.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Yeah. Well, thank you, Terry, man. I really appreciate it, brother.
Thanks
Thank you
for
for coming
having
on. Absolutely, dude.
Most
Cool.
definitely.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you later. Take care. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, thank you, Terry, for coming on, sharing some of your insight, your wisdom, and inspiration. What a great episode, man. I had a blast. All right, guys, we'll see you next time for